Okay, so it's 6:30. We're going to call the meeting to order. Jennifer, can you call the roll, please?
Yeah, just a second. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Amina? Annie?
Here.
Candace? James?
Here.
Jeanette? Margaret?
Present.
Megan?
Present.
Tammy?
Here.
And
Okay.
And I would like to say before we continue, Jeanette is on for whatever reason it's showing her.
She is on or she's not on?
She is.
Okay.
I see Megan used my name. Should we have everybody make sure their name is properly used?
I had to change mine when I came in because it was under yours when I clicked on the join meeting from your email. So I think that's what's happening. I think Annie, you did that too, didn't you?
Yep, I think everyone's joining and
Yeah.
it's automatically Jennifer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, it just was changed. Megan just changed.
Okay. Are we ready to move forward? Okay. So does everyone have a copy of the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
So moved. James?
Second by Megan.
So it's been properly moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
So moving on to the minutes, has everyone had an opportunity to review the February minute? Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I had like one question about, but Mr. Mitchell would have to be here to clarify. And it was a previous question about the minutes with the, and I guess at this point it wouldn't be the same issue because we're using the overflow of money for COVID issues. But I think there was a comment about how there was excess funds that would be used for senior housing that wasn't in the minutes.
Okay. Is there any other discussion around the minutes? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. James?
Is there a
Second by Megan.
All right, it's been properly moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, they are approved. And then we're moving into the term renewals. James or Megan?
Megan, you want to take the first group and I'll take the second group? How about that?
Want to flip it? I'm looking for the.
Okay, I'll do the first one. I think we have, according to the information that I received, we have 3 of our members that have completed their first term and are eligible for a second term. Those folks in group 1 would include Tammy, Candace, and Margaret. As the ad hoc nominations committee, we'd like to put your 3 names in the nomination for continuing on for a second term. Unless you say nay, we'll bring it to a vote. Can we vote, have an acclamation vote, or how do we need to do that?
So what I have been informed is that due to the fact they have already been approved, that all we needed to more or less know is whether or not they were willing to continue and re-up for a second term.
Okay, so they just need to accept.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
So
City Commission already vote to accept our continued
initially,
participation, is that correct?
What was your question, Margaret?
I thought that we had to vote, that it had to be the recommendation would be to send our names to the City Commission for approval, but it sounds like you're saying they already approved us because we're kind of missed a few meetings.
Yes, that's true. You're already approved. You're
Okay.
just going into your second term,
Got it.
into a new full term.
So
And I'm eligible too, but I'm not seeking a second term.
sorry, Annie, I didn't, yeah. I did know that because I had seen something that you had tendered a letter of resignation, but I'm sorry that I should have mentioned that as well at the same time. So for those folks wishing to continue on in the second term, Margaret, are you accepting?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Tammy, are you accepting?
yes,
Yes. And is Candace on?
I think Candace was still having problems. But
Okay.
from my understanding, she did send an email for acceptance.
Okay. So can we complete that portion for group one, the continuation of those three?
Yes.
yes,
Yes? Okay.
yes.
All right. So, Tammy, unless you had anything further on that piece, we'll move to group two, which would be, did you have it? Did you find it, Megan?
Yeah, I did.
Group two? Do you want to go?
Two is Amina and Jeanette, who are both representatives of neighborhood associations. I would like to motion that we approve them to stand in until their respective neighborhood associations identify replacements.
My only question would be to each of them and or to the committee, have their neighborhood groups been apprised of the need for an additional or another representative from their neighborhood association? They have? Yes? Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Go ahead, Megan.
Is there a motion?
Is that, Vanessa, do we need a motion on that, or Tammy?
We need a
We
vote
can
on this.
What?
I just need a second.
I'll
I sec-
second. I'll second, if that's a motion, Megan, I'll second it.
That was a motion.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm not
Tammy?
always,
Okay, so at this time, we're moving into the public hearing portion of our meeting. Good evening and welcome to the City of Kalamazoo's annual Community Development Act Advisory Committee Program Year 2020 public hearing. Do we need to put up the slides? The public hearing objectives are to provide an overview of program year 2019 amendments relating to the COVID-19 pandemic, to provide funding recommendations related to the City of Kalamazoo's competitive application, and to respond to citizens' comments. At this time, we will have our city staff address our 2019 consolidated plan and action plan substantial amendments and respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. Ms. Collins Smith?
Yes. So if you just bear with me just for a moment here. Okay, so good evening. The consolidated plan and annual action plans describe the housing and community development needs as well as activities to address those needs through the City of Kalamazoo as defined and funded by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. These plans bring together in one consolidated submission the planning and application aspects of the Community Development Block Grant, which is known as CDBG, and our Home Investment Partnership Grant. Objectives and goals are the result of our residents' voices, informing the city of resident and community needs through a variety of modalities during the citizen participation process. In compliance with HUD memos dated March to 31st, 2020, and April 9th, 2020, the following amendments are proposed for the City of Kalamazoo City Participation Plan, the 2020-19 Consolidated Plan, and the 2019 Annual Action Plan. These amendments are set up in response to disaster and emergency preparedness, specifically in response to COVID-19. This evening, I will be addressing our updated Citizen Participation Plan, our 2019 Consolidated Plan and Action Plan, substantial amendments. Our first amendment was to our Citizen Participation Plan. This plan outlines the policies and procedures that the City of Kalamazoo must utilize to solicit citizen participation. The primary goal is to provide citizens, especially very low and moderate income residents, an opportunity to participate in an advisory role in the planning, implementation and assessment of the programs and projects. Our plan was updated to reflect the following waivers. Waiver 8, which reduced our 30-day comment period to 5 days, and waiver 9, which allowed the city to determine what constituted reasonable notice and opportunity to comment. The needs assessment narrative part of our 2019-23 consolidated plan was updated to address the needs of the COVID-19 in reference to food, rental assistance, safety for our citizens, and small business assistance. We amended our priority assessment narrative by adding economic development. In reference to our goal summary, we updated our overall funding to be received over the 5-year con plan period to include the COVID-19 allocation. For our 2019 action plan, we amended our 2019 budget to reflect an increase from $2,760,674 to $3,719,411. This, of course, is as a result of COVID-19 funding in the amount of $958,737.
Vanessa, can you please repeat what that increase is for?
The increase is in reference to the COVID-19 funding.
Okay. A particular, just in general, what we can allot this year?
Yes, this is the amount that we will be to our 2019 budget.
Okay, thank you.
And I want to make sure I back up and it's a clear understanding. That's $958,737.
Yeah.
Okay. The following amendments were also made to the 2019 action plan budget in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So this is actually the breakdown of the actual amount that we will be looking at. For senior services, they will receive $25,000 for Meals on Wheels to quarantine individuals or individuals that need to maintain social distancing due to medical vulnerabilities. Now, this amount of dollars were not a part of the actual COVID allocation. These are dollars that we went back that were unallocated, and we allocated these dollars toward senior services for senior services. Rental assistance will receive $719,053 to support individuals that have been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. And this will also, as a preventative measure in reference to the eviction. Excuse me, my voice is leaving. The city will, excuse me, allocate $239,684 in grant funding to small business assistance in purchasing supplies and materials that will assist our business, their business in reopening to the public, maintaining a clean environment, and promoting social distancing. Now we're going to actually address a part of our 2019 action plan funding, a budget that needed to be reprogrammed. The city is reprogramming $20,000 of the 2019 CDBG funding from Local Initiative Support Corporation, known as LIS, to United Way of the Battle Creek and Kalamazoo region for administrative support to the continuum of care. Reprogramming of these funds are due to the COC is now managed by United Way. At this time, I'm going to turn this part of the presentation over to Ms. Ray to present on our 2020 program year action plan, recommended funding for the city of Kalamazoo in reference to the city of Kalamazoo 2020 competitive applications.
Can I ask a couple questions real quick, Vanessa?
Yes.
The rental assistance, is it still limited to people who are 80% or below of area median income?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And then the goals that were changed, the priority needs with the added economic development, is that a change in the consolidated plan itself?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. So for program year 2020, the City of Kalamazoo's anticipated budget for HUD's Community Development Block Grant and for the Home Investment Partnership Project Program, the funding amount is $2,466,268. An estimated 37% of this anticipated budget will be awarded to community-based organizations that will address the following for low to moderate income Kalamazoo residents: critical and minor home repairs, homeless prevention, rental property development, down payment assistance for home purchases, and home ownership opportunities. For program year 2020, the CDAAC committee recommended funding for 4 applicants that participated in the City of Kalamazoo's competitive application process. The applicants were scored on project effectiveness, capacity and experience, project financing, performance, provided they were a prior year awardee, and the consolidated plan priorities addressed in their application. The Community Development Block Grant, excuse me, is one of the longest running programs of the U.S. Department of HUD. It funds local community development activities with the stated goal of providing affordable housing, anti-poverty programs, and infrastructure development. CDBG, like other block grant programs, differ from categorical grants made for specific purposes, and that they are subject to less federal oversight, are largely used at the discretion of the state and local governments and their sub-grantees. Under CDBG, the city received competitive applications from 3 community-based organizations: Community Homeworks, Senior Services, and KNHS. CDAAC made the following funding recommendations. For Community Homeworks, the activity is critical home repairs. The funding amount is $95,000 with 38 units to be provided. Senior Services, the activity is minor home repairs for seniors. excuse me, the funding amount is $150,000, sorry, with 60 units to be provided. And then KNHS, the activity is down payment assistance. The funding amount is $105,000 with 12 units to be provided. The Home Investment Partnership Program, or HOME, provides formula grants to states and localities that communities use, often in partnership with local nonprofit groups. This grant funds a wide range of activities, including building, buying, and or rehabilitating affordable housing for rent or home ownership, or providing direct rental assistance to low-income people. Under HOME, the city received competitive applications from 2 community-based organizations, KNHS and Tardini. CDAAC made the following funding recommendations. KNHS, the activity is lease purchase. The funding amount is $205,000 with 3 units to be provided. And then for Tardini, the activity rental rehab, the funding amount is $90,500 with 4 units to be provided. So at this time, the CDAAC committee will open the session for public comments on Program Year 2019 Consolidated Plan Substantial Amendments, Program Year 2019 Action Plan Substantial Amendments, Community Planning and Economic Development Citizen Participation Plan Amendment, and Program Year 2020 Action Plan.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I missed the part earlier. I know we had, I believe it was 958,000 additional dollars that went into for the COVID-19 allocation. And there was something I think related to United Way, and I'm thinking it was for administering some of the funds, but I wasn't exactly sure what that was. Could you kind of clarify for me what that involved?
So what it was that United Way is now managing the COC.
Yeah.
So prior to, we had $20,000 that had been allocated to lists who were the prior provider. So what we did is that we reallocated that $20,000 to United Way, who are now handling COC.
So for the COVID funds, is that what that means? Is that?
No, not necessarily.
No.
That is for administrative purposes.
CFC stands for Continuum of Care.
I'm sorry, what?
It stands for Continuum of Care. It's separate from COVID.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but COC is essentially homelessness prevention is the main goal of that.
Yeah. Yep. It's like an umbrella for different groups that support people who are facing homelessness or seeking housing.
Okay. Thank you.
Tammy, do you mind repeating what the award was to Community Homeworks? The dollar amount? You're muted, I think.
Community Homeworks was $95,000.
Thank you. I misheard you when you said it, so I was just clarifying. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So COC is also, James, they also manage the ESG funds for homelessness. So they're similar to what we do, or, you know, the city of Kalamazoo and CDAAC manage the CDBG and home funds. And then the COC committees manage the ESG, which is specifically for homeless folks. I don't see where your image went, but.
Do we have any public comments?
I don't have any public comments at this time.
We don't. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
We do not have any public comments.
Okay. Are there any additional committee members?
I think it's great that we're putting so much into housing, affordable housing this year. I still wish we could put more into that area. maybe more into down payment assistance and other equity building strategies, but I think it's a really good start.
Agreed. Thank you, Annie. Are there any other committee members? No. So at this time, the CDAC committee will close its public comment period for hearing for the program year 2020. And then we have a motion.
I'm going to motion that that the funding recommendations for community homework, senior services, KNHS, and Tardani home rental becomes part of the 2020-2021 action plan budget for the city of Kalamazoo. In addition, that we make along with any of the adjustments that are necessary as a result of any public comments from this public hearing, which I'm guessing there won't be since we didn't have any public comments, but in case anything has come in some other way.
Is there
Sorry, Tammy.
support?
I'm just curious, are there any public comments that we could share now or that came in through another avenue? Through the city?
So he just said there weren't any public comments to share.
Okay, none emailed.
Not that I'm aware of. I mean,
Okay.
looks like Vanessa's on mute, but no.
So is there support for the motion on the floor?
What's the motion, Tammy?
Second by Board.
The motion is recommendations for community homework, senior services, KNHS, and Tardini becomes part of the program year 2020 and 2021 action plan budget for the city of Kalamazoo, along with any adjustments deemed necessary as a result of public comments resulting from this public hearing.
Thank you. I'll provide a second.
Thank you. All in favor, please state your name for the record.
James. Sorry.
Walda.
Annie Shira?
Okay. Any opposition?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Oh, good. I'm not hearing the name after KNHS. Who are you saying?
Hold on.
After KNHS is Tardini Rentals.
Oh, that's not on mine. I don't see them. Wait a minute, let me go back. I don't see Tardini Rentals.
TARDAN.
Oh, I see them. I see them now. Home fund. Okay.
Are you supporting the motion, Amina?
Yes.
Okay, so, excuse me, I have Jeanette on the phone and, hold on, Jeanette. Jeanette, can you hear me? Hello? Well, she called in reference to, so here, hold on just a moment. Jeanette?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. They're needing your name for being in support.
Okay, Jeanette Tarver, support.
Hey, we could hear you.
Jeanette Tarver, support.
Thank you, Jeanette. Is there any opposition? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Okay. I want to take this opportunity to thank each of you for your devotedness in reference to this process. If excuse my voice is going in and out. You've been very diligent and non-partial in your efforts to make recommendations based on facts. And the city of Kalamazoo, we do accept your recommendation to add community homeworks, senior services, Kalamazoo neighborhood housing, and Tardini rental to become part of our 2021 action plan budget for the city of Kalamazoo, along with any adjustments deemed necessary as a result of public comment resulting from this public hearing. And since there were none, we will move forward.
Is there a motion to close the meeting?
Yeah.
Motion to close the meeting.
Oh, wait, before we close, I think, Annie, if you have not sought reappointment, this will be your last meeting, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to say,
Well, you'll probably see me from another angle.
well, I just wanted to acknowledge that moment and say thank you for serving with us. And it's
Yeah, of course. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Yes, for serving on the committee.
Yeah.
And why is this your last meeting?
She does not.
Because my term is expired and I'm not seeking a new term.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm too busy and I'm gonna focus my efforts other places. But I probably will see you guys from public hearing perspectives because I really like this stuff.
Oh,
Thank
okay. So before we close, I would also like to thank Annie for your devotion. You have been very passionate in your serving with CDAAC, and I do look forward to working with you and the community.
Thank you, Vanessa.
So now is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion, Tammy, to adjourn this meeting.
Thank you, Amina. Is there support?
Seconded.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned.
Thanks all. Good job, Tammy.